Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Good morning. This is going to be the second annual Missing Person Day for the Navajo Police Department, also sharing with the Navajo Nation. This was planned to help a lot of the family members for the missing and murdered families that have yet to find their loved ones and already dealing with the death of their loved one and they're trying to find justice. So as the amount of resources that I hear, I would like to thank all of you. I know you guys have the same compassion and love for your state, your people, and for everybody that is trying to find justice. So first of all, if you guys do not know me, my name is Rosita Billy. I work for the Navajo Police Department. I have been the MMIT liaison for the past 2 years. I know this is going to shock everybody, but I have another job that I'm going to be diverting in, and that's the Director of Communications with the Navajo Police Department. Okay. But we do have Commander Felicia Williams that will be overseeing the missing person unit, along with Detective Israel Susie. So I know that they will continue to do a good job. I'll go ahead and hand the mic to my other person here. What other half?
Yeah, good morning. It's good to see everybody here. This week, so totally opportunity. Nana's presentation English. Lord. Then we can hear them. Initial buses team. After the she on to Mexico to tell Kyle, Peshanella. I'm originally from Oklahoma. Here in Mexico. The founder of Navajo Nation Missing Persons Updates, also one of the co-founders of Missing Martyrs and Their Relatives Coalition. And we actually have a table in the resource room today to stop by and get to know some of us and get to see some of the activities that we're doing. And Rosita here, she has been such a blessing to so many families, so many of our community members, our agencies. I remember starting this back in 2013. And not knowing exactly where to go, how to help anybody. I kind of just like came across it. I was like, I wonder where all are missing, why our missing people are not posted. I started to do research and came to this thing that was called NAMUS, the National Missing Unidentified Persons Database. And a lot of our relatives were mislabeled as being Asian and white. It was just something that really just kind of grabbed my attention. So I really started to get more into this, like I did research. And then 2017, I met a family that was almost begging for help for the Navajo Nation. And at that time, her sister had gone missing. The mom came and she wanted to advocate. So she wanted to do a march, and we went to the president's office. I was the very first one that ever came out because 2013 to 2017, I was an anonymous advocate. I didn't want to come out. I helped families, but I didn't let them know what it was. But 2017, I was able to come out, and I haven't been stopping since then. So I've been told to be quiet. But I got louder. I know a lot of us advocates are that way. Tell us to be quiet when we get louder. But along that way, I've met so many people, and Rosita's one of them. She opened her heart to help me, and that's something that you don't come across, especially when it comes to something like to violence and crimes are missing, are murdered, are unsolved, are unidentified and unclaimed. They're kind of just left out in the wind, but with the help of Rosita, she has been a wonderful advocate for the family. She's been there, hands on deck, eating moccasins on the ground, and she always has that smile and that compassion in her. And it's really sad to see you take that step, but I know that that's something that you you know, you want to do, and I want to encourage you to keep going. But you have started something, this is the second annual, so she has started something along with the Navajo Police Department for our families and for our law enforcement and other agencies that have the resources to help now. These resources were not available back in 2013, but together today, we have a lot more resources. So I do want to thank Christina. I mean, there's nothing else that I can say. We don't have enough thank yous just to say it today. You're going to continue to be with us, and you've been alive for everybody here. And I'm so happy to say that she's my sister. And thank you.
Let's be happy today, my friend. So I just want to mention a few individuals that have came out. We do have Colorado State Police here. Sir, if you can stand up. We have Raven from Ignacio, the tribe out there. She does a lot with sexual assault, way back. And she always have been really good motivator regarding the police department too. State Police, Captain Sean Martin and Mr. Benali here from State Police, so we appreciate you guys coming out. Human trafficking project from California, human trafficking, I do appreciate it. New Mexico Crime Lab, Graham, thank you for coming out as well. Lieutenant Sigawa. Did I nail it? No, it's hard.
Easy one, right?
And so many departments, I'm happy that Department of Baby House is also here as well, with victim advocates, because you guys are the ones that do so much for these families. So I do appreciate that. I'll go ahead and give it, I would like to introduce Mr. Dr. Aaron Bailey. He is such a good person. I contacted one of my aunties from Fort Wingate, and they're all like, yeah, he does an awesome prayer. And I'm like, okay, I need him then. So this was yesterday, he agreed to it. So I do appreciate Mr. Dr. Aaron Benali. He's going to bless us in prayer. So, yeah.
Ja, bine, am spus. Și sânagini ești, bet ani ești hier ani ești că și nele, et alte ești, alo Dr. Aaron ești, nele țe și are nașa, not major, alo și archibald. The real Red Rock, south of Gallup, that's where I'm from, not Red Rock State Park. Shimoto, Chile, 8 times so Louisville, and then my next door neighbor is my parents. I live next door to them. That's where I'm coming from, that's who I am. And so I'm very humble and honored to be able to open up this unique, wonderful, emotional event on behalf of the families, on behalf of the community here, and all of the planning and the strategizing that is taking place, and the advocates that we have for our community here, so that our families could be able to maybe find some comfort and keep having hope for the future that everything's going to be okay. And so this prayer is also going to be a song acknowledging the mountains that keep us safe and protected, that we call home as the net. Aujourd'hui, je me sens petit peu calme pour ce que je alors je crois que le système de notre donc aussi peut ça de power c'est trop also dans la film we call the solution to the area missing persons day area actually Nation, our nation police, all of the law enforcement that's in collaboration here. Et le jeune homme, le monde, ils font AI, the net identity AI, the families, all the partnerships, and all the advocacy groups. Et le jeune homme, non, c'est 만일 그들을 난 정도의 이것은 심한 스타시 다르게 이거 이거 주스는 아로 내 하죠 에야 나하고 롱도를 또 이거 이거 주스는 상도를
So much, Mr. Dr. Philly. So before I introduce the next guest, she's gonna do the performance song. Her name is Jacqueline Bear. We got to meet her under, really bad terms, but kind of made us to be, really good friends. And for her to come down and to provide her voice, is so powerful the way she sings. She's also the aunt of the late famous H. Largo, who was eight-year-old individual that was shot and killed a couple of years back. So she hasn't sang for a while, and she sang at her nephew's funeral, and it was just really amazing. So Ms. Jacqueline, here.
Jackson Ware. I come to you from Moyoc, Colorado. I don't know if you know, any of you officers know my mom. She worked with victims assistance up in the Yukon tribe. I believe in. Sorry, I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm 33 years old. I met Rosita back when my nephew was shot and killed. We just recently going through with the court process to get justice for him. What else could I say about him? It's very nice to meet all of you. I had to come about a 2-hour drive. But thank God it wasn't snowing, right? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the slideshow.
So much for coming over here and taking the time to sing that. That was a beautiful song.
Real quick, on this slide, I got the permission from the families on each slide, so they provided me photos. On the photo on the right, Ashland Mike's dad, that's the first photo that is actually being seen. He never exposed it to the public, so I was very thankful for us to give us the opportunity to show that, as well as his mother. I know that they were unable to make it, but a lot of these slides are from the permission from the family, so I do appreciate that. So Jacqueline again, yeah, thank you. Next will be our opening ceremony from, the Navajo Police Department, Police Commander, Felicia Williams for the missing person.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Felicia Williams, Police Commander with the Navajo Police Department. My board plans, I am Kabaman, Mishlo, Kuchi, Bashishi, and Kabana, Bashishi. All my Bashishi, Bashino. I'm originally from the Woodruff, Arizona area. I've been with the Navajo Police Department for over 25 years. And just recently appointed over the missing persons unit. So I'm very thankful for all the work, hard work, time, dedication, and loyalty Miss Racita Todd put into this unit. I've got to know the 3 police detectives that are assigned. We have Sergeant Israel Sosi, that's first in charge of the unit. And also the 2 other detectives, Julie Warner Gay and also Derek Finale. And that's the extent of our unit, but we also have the external resources that Ms. Billy had been able to provide for us. And I see a lot of people that I've met through the virtual meetings since my appointment. And it is a lot of work on everyone's behalf. And I see this as a regional effort. Thank you guys all for coming today and making this day available for all the families that need the support and the resources out there. So the welcome address, just to give you a little bit of information with the Navajo Police Department, the missing persons unit started about 3 years ago. There was a lot of initiative made on our former chief of police, Daryl New. There was a lot of efforts made. He wanted to coordinate units. At the time, there wasn't a lot of resources. There wasn't a lot of talks about it, but within time it started to build. So I'm very thankful for everyone's work, effort, support. And I know it's just to support the families that are out there that are experiencing these types of ongoing cases. So I think our main initiative here today is to make sure that we provide as much assistance and support for these families. So I wanted to thank everybody for that. And for Ms. Todd, Ms. Billy, where are you? I don't see you here. She's done a lot of work. And I know she's going to continue to be behind the scenes, so she's really not going to keep away from this. I know that. So, but thank you guys all for coming. I know we have weather that sort of began to impede on the on today's date, but I'm glad for everyone's presence here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Felicia Williams. So next up we have, and I don't think anybody needs that proper introduction because we all know who this person is. So I'd like to welcome Chief Ms. Erin Tolina Pablo to the stage.
Good morning. Thank you guys all for being here. She Erin Tolina Pablo Leadership, not Hype and My name is Erin Tolina Pablo, and I'm the police chief for the Gallup Police Department. I come from Sawmill, Arizona, which is about an hour drive from Gallup. But Gallup has been the central area where I've come to shop, where I've come to for services, where I've come to do a lot of my daily needs, and I so happily become the chief for the Gallup Police Department. Our department currently sits at staffing of about 61 positions, but we're down about 12. And in that, I can say that we don't have a missing persons unit, but we do have all of our staff who are on board and looking at our missing persons case. It's not just one division, it is our whole department as a whole. And you know, the information as it goes out, I'm sitting here listening to the song that was sung and then seeing the flyers of missing people out there, the information is really crucial, and for us to be able to see it here and absorb that and then share it. I think that's something that is really critical in our task as far as law enforcement. One of the big things that I think that I can brag about the Gallup Police Department is, you know, the stigma of when someone goes missing, oh, you gotta wait 24 hours. Oh, they're missing from Shiprock. Oh, they're missing from Albuquerque. We can't help you. We have to go over there. That's kind of the stigma that was always put into people, and they turned them away and never got their loved one entered in as missing. But what the Gallup Police Department does is that when someone comes to the Gallup PD, they make a call to our dispatch, we send an officer there, we take that missing person's report. We, as the Gallup Police Department, enter that in, so that number becomes Gallup Police Department's missing person. But if that person is missing from another jurisdiction, we actually do the flyer, we get out the information to all local law enforcement, and then we communicate with that law enforcement agency where they're missing from to try to work that. So that's something that I'm really trying to push for within our associations of chiefs, to have other agencies within New Mexico trying to do that, not pushing and turning our families away when they're needing help. I understand that. I know when people come through Gallup, they're like, Gallup has the highest missing persons entered in the nation. And I'm like, yeah, it does, but you got to look at the stats on that. How many of those numbers that have been entered in have been found, have been, you know, a success rate? We will endure that negative statistic as far as having the highest entered in, but I can honestly say that we have the success rate of finding these individuals is, it's on the benefit of the family and for law enforcement. I just wanted to share that we're coming to the end of March. For this year, we've entered in 27 missing persons just for 2025. And as of last week, everyone who has been entered in has been located. So right now we have 0 outstanding for 2025. What we've been trying to do is, so we have older cases. We have a case from 1986, that's Antoinette Caimito. That case, we've been collaborating with the FBI, trying to get information out on that. That case is still open. The Gallup Police Department currently has 17 open cases, and those are, like I said, starting from 1986 to current. So those are the cases that we're really trying to work on. You know, with the resources that we have, if you see at the bottom of the flyer, it has all of these resources that families can look at, law enforcement can look at, because we can't do it alone. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do this by myself. The Gallup Police Department's going to do it themselves. I need everyone's help, and that comes down to not only the organizations, but for victim advocates, they play a key part in helping the families get the information that they do need. If something happens to you, if something happened to me at that moment, I don't even know what to do. As a chief of police, I'd be like, my family is missing, all of everything just leaves me. I need someone to help me. So that's why we need to rely on a lot of our victim advocates and those who are there to give us some assistance, because our mind, everything had just been depleted and we don't know what to do at that moment. But we can all step up and say, this is what you can do, this is what it is, and try to make it easier for the victims' families in getting that, instead of having a hardship in trying to get that information out. I have my division here. I have Lieutenant Anthony Sisua, who heads our investigations division. He'll be in the room here on the south side. I also have Detective Chavo Chichili, who's also here today, and they will help if there's anyone who needs any information as far as any of the cases with the Gallup Police Department, or maybe just even asking them, how do you do this? How can I get this taken care of? I also have some of my police recruits here in the front. Thank you guys for taking your time to be here for this event. I appreciate that. I also just want to thank everyone who is in attendance. I wish that I could have this as like the people who attend the Navajo Nation Fair, those amounts of people, because this is a huge issue that we are dealing with on the Navajo Nation and within the surrounding border towns. But those of you who are here, please share these resources. Get on your social media, share it, and have others continue to do that, because information sharing is powerful. And for all the hard work that Racita does, I'm very grateful for her and the partnership that I have. I can actually say that she's a good friend of mine now, and knowing what she does and the hard work and the long hours that she puts in. And she is a mom too, but she's doing a lot of the time off, and I know it takes away from her family, but I appreciate that. And those of you who have any questions, please come up and ask. Don't be afraid. I'm human like you. I breathe just like you guys. I put my socks on just like you guys. So it doesn't make me any better than anyone else. But I want you guys to feel comfortable in having that resources here. But thank you guys very much, and enjoy the day. And if someone is not here, but they're in the area, tell them to come on by, grab some resources and information, and invite them to this event. But thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Erin, Lena, Pablo. I love her name. Her name is so long, just like mine. All right, so next up, we have from our Navajo Nation, our Vice President, Rochelle Montoya. Give her a hand, y'all.
Good morning, Navajo. Saya Rochelle Montoya Lucia. Hashtag Ancient Patents and Message Kimchi Message Cutting National. Hashtag Ancient Patents and Message Opposition the Hardman Shop. The Kujolo should yell with April to Kayal with Ancient. I can make couple, I can do couple out to 100%. Indeed, be quiet. We get away. We can hear, we can see, we can measure. We did not, I think it's a little. But it is making pleasure that's it. A your need time, it's not a ball. It's on the feet, it's down. Hello, it's on the feet, and it's then a mother identity, a creative ability, at home. Seclusion, not that we can don't have any maybe the African today is that African some big is that they are every quality. One of those, they are equality. Alexa, Bahamas. Then the law are incident is able to say, yeah, coffee. Okay, thinking so all based on a heavy day. The other hit all quite short, but no area quite. The different agencies across the states that Navajo Nation is a part of. That is what I fight for. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much and for listening and for letting me be able to speak here today. I spoke in my Navajo language, which I always do as much as I can, but I do know that we have different entities here, different ethnicities here that don't understand or speak the Navajo language, but one day you guys will, so. I am the Navajo Nation Vice President, and I take this organization, this meeting, this collaboration that happens in settings like this to deepen my heart and my thoughts and my prayers and songs that I sing as I go across Navajo Nation. It's something that I do my best to think about. I do my best to remember all the individuals that are gone. And it's such a wonderful thing to hear just now, as Chief Pablo just mentioned. There was this many people that were reported missing, but they were all located. It makes my heart happy to hear that. And we all follow social media. We all see the different missing family members that are out there. And for myself, I just had a friend of mine whose sister was missing here in the city of Gallup. And they kept posting, they kept posting, they kept posting. And she was located, and we were also thankful for her and her family. And then, of course, there's the other individual who was an elder female who wandered off, was reported seen here in Gallup, but in the end, she was found, her remains were found. There's cases like that happen. But as I mentioned on the other day when I went to the search and rescue training, that the most unbearable feeling to have on this earth is to not know. To not know what happened to your family. To not know what has happened to your baby, your child. And I say that as a mom because I had this discussion with Chief. You know, as old as we can be, if your mother is here on earth, they will protect you, they will worry about you, they will ask you questions. And I mean, I'm 48 years old, and unfortunately, my mom is not here anymore. But she has her sisters and her cousins that are my moms now, and they still check on me. And it's something that we all do. It's something that we all do as mothers. And because of that feeling is why I go into the Navajo Nation as the vice president and stress to my Navajo Nation Police Department that the missing persons unit needs to continue to grow. It needs the support that it needs because I have so many people that come to me when I'm out and about telling me my family member is still gone. I haven't heard from the Navajo Nation Police. I haven't heard from Navajo Nation leadership. And I really take that personally because I do my best. And when I am out and about and I do hear something, it was such a strong feeling to say, this is Rosita Billy. This is her phone number. She will be your contact. I never had to say, let me figure out who can talk to you. And for that, I just wanted to tell Rosita, thank you so much for taking on that position for the time that you had it. Thank you so much for former leadership officer, Chief Noon, for establishing a missing persons unit within the Navajo Nation Police Department. Thank you for the current chief for continuing and supporting the missing persons unit. Thank you for the individuals that take care of it right now. Thank you to each of the outside entities that collaborate, the other police departments, in other states. The Navajo Nation goes across the state of Arizona, the state of Mexico, and the state of Utah. And we also have a piece of land in the state of Colorado. But as we all know, our children have gone across the world. As mentioned here, other people's children come into Gallup and something happens. Gallup takes it upon themselves to say, okay, we're gonna take care of your kiddo. We're gonna make sure that we have the information out there so that this individual is known as missing and we can help find him. That's what we have to do today. We have to continue to work together. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, this whole world is a village. We all have to look out for one another. We all have to listen out for one another. We all have to speak out for one another. We have to say, hey, that's not supposed to happen there. Are you sure this is your child? She looks nervous, he looks nervous, what's going on here? We have to ask questions. And if we're afraid for our own personal being, then let's find somebody that can help us ask these questions, which are our police officers. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here to speak, and I appreciate all the families for being here and for having to tell your stories again and again and again. But please continue to tell us, continue to remind us, continue to let us know that there's still something that needs to be done. And as again, you're an Navajo Nation Vice President, you have the power of my office to push through any barriers that we need your families to push through to get answers, to get help. Thank you so much, everyone, and let's continue to be support for one another. Again, thank you so much, everyone, and please be safe out there. Yeah.
Some good words from our Vice President. Thank you again for coming. So our next guest that we're gonna have speaking is gonna be the mayor of Gallup. Why don't we take this one and come, grab his hand over.
Good morning, everybody. I appreciate everybody taking the time, especially with the way the weather is, to drive to Gallup and be here for this event. I get to welcome you. That's one of the reasons I'm standing up here, basically, to welcome you to our facility, the Morro Theater in the event center. I wish you all the success that you could possibly get. And you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what is success in finding missing people? Because in some cases, it's not a very happy occasion. But then again, every time one case is solved, it's definitely a victory. I can relate basically to a missing person, a dear friend of mine. And this, of course, dates back years ago, probably 20 years ago. The son went missing. And for 17 years, they had no idea, no clue as to what happened to that boy. Until somebody basically admitted they had killed him. So not every event, not every case is like I say, it's a success in a sense, but it's a sad occasion. But then on the other hand, it is closure. Such a relief to the family to have something like that happen, but it was such a relief because for 17 years they thought to themselves, what did we do? Why did he leave home? Why did he run away? But anyway, knowing, you know, at the end of 17 years, they closure. Again, you know, what is the success? You know, every case that is solved, like I say, is a victory for sure. And of course, listening to Chief Pablo, you know, makes me proud of the fact that we've got a great police chief, we've got a great police force as far as I'm concerned. In fact, they even had the FBI call me and with an accommodation saying, you know, your police department really works hard for this. I asked the chief, I says, you know, when is a person considered missing? I mean, is it a day or two or whatever? And she said, no. She says, if your child doesn't come home from a football game, call us. And I thought to myself, boy, I can appreciate that. I've got grandkids, I've got kids. I mean, how much my kids grow up. There's been occasions where they didn't come home until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're concerned, you know. I mean, but they take home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. If that dinner by 9 o'clock that morning, we definitely would be concerned. So, anyway, again, welcome to our facility. I hope you enjoy our facility. I hope you enjoy our hospitality in our community. We've got some great restaurants in this town. I think we've got the best Mexican food in Gallup, or not Gallup, but in the state, because anywhere else, outside the state, Chile is not that good. Anyway, welcome, and then again, I wish all the success that we can possibly get out of this. Thank you.
So, looking around the longer and there's the pipe. You don't even answer my text.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Chief Carolina Betty Pablo, and I'm Commander Felicia Williams. as well as, the President Michelle Toya. So, the next presenter would be, NITNIC, the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. Make your way down. I also want to introduce Mark Cooley from UNHS. He helps us with the DNA. Opinions from Mexico's Department of Public Safety. Families, I have a Tiffany Reed sister, Leandra Reed. Sarah. Bennett's mother and her sister as well. And Julius Largo's sister as well that is also here. I did mispronounce his name. I do apologize. This is where his name is Lane, L-A-N-G. So thank you. Go ahead, David. It's yours. Take it away.
Oh, in a group we have David Reed. Thank you. Good morning. I'm David Reed. I am a TMAT consultant with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I am also a tribal member of San Pueblo. I currently live in Southern California. Marine Corps took me out there. That's really nothing. So I never thought my way back. But I warned Garcia about a couple of things. One, put me on early in the morning because you just woke up and I'm going to put you back to sleep. So the other thing too is be careful about making a quiet man speak because you'll never shut him up. So so please give me the cue if I'm going on too long. A couple of things about me. I also am a project coordinator with the National Criminal Justice Training Center, a program called Amber in Indian Country. And I'm a retired law enforcement. I did 32 years active in the Orange County Sheriff's Department in California. And I also did, and it's an extra 5 years with search and rescue. And my specialties were advanced search operations and tracking. So that's just a little bit about myself. So the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The National Center was founded in the 80s. Many of you are familiar with John Walsh. He used to do the America's Most Wanted and some of those different shows. He still does a few programs on TV, but in the 90s, his son was abducted and murdered in Florida. And so John Walsh and his wife, they formed the National Center along with other missing child advocates. And they formed the National Center to be the main clearinghouse for missing, abducted, exploited children throughout the country. And so there's a lot of different stats about the things that the National Center has done and has been involved in. But the best statistic that I always like to share is that in the past 40 years, the National Center has assisted in law enforcement in the recovery of over 400,000 missing children. So that, to me, is, after all of the hours and sometimes frustration and long days and long hours, that's what makes it really worth it. That we're involved in our main missions, which are to find missing children, to prevent exploitation and victimization. So that's a little bit about who we are. The three main things from my training and experience, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how that came about. But in the years that I've worked, and I've worked missing child cases, I've worked missing adults, elderly, those that are on the autism spectrum, a wide variety of missing persons cases. For missing children, the three things that I want to emphasize probably the most are prevention, preparation, and response. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face: prevention, preparation, and response. That is, to me, the secret sauce as far as how we keep our children safe. It's good to be able to respond effectively and efficiently and in an organized way, in a dynamic way, to where we get out there and we do the things that we're trained to do, and that we know that we can do, that we have the resources in place to do. And also our preparation, putting all of those things in place beforehand, before we need them, so that when we need them, we don't have to go looking around for all of our resources. But to me, the most important part of that is the prevention in the first place. So all of these different things that we do to try to assist everyone in the prevention of missing or exploited or abducted children. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit is how NECMEC assists with those different things: prevention, preparation, and response. So the way, first of all, to get a hold of the National Center, if you have a child that's missing or is being exploited, is being trafficked, has been abducted, stranger abduction, parental abductions, all of these different things, is to just call 1-800-THE-BOSS number. And all of the numbers will be up on the screen here. Here it is, 1-800-843-5678. We are a 24/7 operation. When you make that call, it could be a family member, it could be law enforcement, it could be a group home, it could be foster care, it doesn't matter. When somebody calls that number, it's going to be a 24-hour call center that answers the phone. Everything that we have is free. There's nothing that's going to cost anybody anything. We do encourage family members, parents, guardians, to call that number if they have a missing or exploited abducted child, because that's a direct line also for some of the resources that are available to family members, siblings, and that kind of thing. So with our 24/7 hotline, we provide support to parents. We create, disseminate the posters. Whenever we get an Amber Alert, we do a secondary Amber Alert for that police department, and we target those areas that we think that maybe the child may be headed, maybe last seen eastbound on I-40, for example. We could target certain areas as a secondary Amber Alert system. We'll show you here in just a minute some of the resources that we use. Here's where we can target certain specific areas. We can also gather all of those resources that we need, need to start putting in place to start quickly assisting law enforcement. One of the first things that we do is we assign that case to a case manager, and that case manager will do a really quick assessment of here are some of the things that are needed for this missing child case. And one of the things that's going to be almost automatically called out is Team Adam. And that's where I work. Team Adam was formed, was named after Adam Walsh. And what we will do is we will go out there. I've always got my backpack with all my stuff ready to go. We'll go out and place throughout the country, and we'll go straight to that law enforcement agency, and we'll usually get a debrief based on what they told us. We'll make our assessment, our evaluation of this. This is what we recommend, And these are some of the resources that we can bring to the table. There is a ton of resources that are available for Team Adam to bring out. There is also long-term missing cases that we work with Team Adam. If your child has been missing a day or 50 years, it doesn't matter. Because as long as there is an open case with that law enforcement agency, we will assist. When you look at long-term missing cases, you've got new technologies, new strategies. There's new ways of processing, examining DNA, technologies, all these different things that are available. And so we have access and we have all those resources available to that are right there too, at our headquarters, and available to us as Team Adam to be able to provide to law enforcement while we're there. We have every federal law enforcement agency that's embedded in within NCMEC, so we don't have to go out looking for a contact or that kind of thing. The only one that we don't have is BIA, and I've been working on that. By the way, we have Mark Cooley here today with who was our original tribal fellowship, and he can tell you that's probably one of the things that they've been working on since he was there. But BIA is so far just about the only federal law enforcement agency that's not embedded within NCMEC. So for us, going out with Team Adam, it's so much, it's very helpful for us to be able to bring out those resources whenever we need them. In the preparation and prevention side of it, we have a lot of resources, especially when it comes to children. If we look at the prevention, we have training resources, we have literature, we have videos, we have presentations that we have that are age appropriate, K-12, and specific to those ages. Here, what we have are some of the resources that we have to get the word out if a child goes missing. So as you can see, we have just a vast, big, wide variety of corporations and social media that are partnered with us so that we can get the word out when a child goes missing. You go ahead and pass it. These are some of the analytics resources that we have. So if a law enforcement agency needs sources of information, our case analysis unit has access to all of these different social media sources, all these different companies, LexisNexis, all of these different things, and they're available to us. If I go out on a call, I've been out on many child abduction calls or missing child calls. Those things are available to me, right away. I can just start pulling from a lot of different resources. Whatever it is that law enforcement needs, we can start drawing from all of these things. And like I said, these are the federal agencies that we have embedded within our agency, our organization. So we can distribute posters through our cyber tip lines, access all of the different labs that are available. We can get assistance with some of our international abductions. So a child we believe has gone internationally across the border or across the ocean, it doesn't matter. We have people that we can work with that'll assist with that. Airports, military, sex offender trafficking, we have all of those things that are available to us as well. And now some of the newer technologies as well, block and some of those other things that are available. Go ahead. Our forensic services unit provides a lot of assistance with forensic technology when it comes to DNA, when it comes to a lot of different processing of a lot of evidence and different forensic things, needs that we have. If you look at image and audio enhancements, different types of communications, handwriting. When we look at DNA, we have different things like phenotyping, forensic genealogy, which is something that's being used a lot these days. It's being used a lot more. It's a really good resource to have if somebody's been missing for a long time. We just recently had one where we used forensic genetic genealogy, and the child had been missing. He was taken as an infant, and he was found just the other day after almost 40 years from being missing. And very thankful to say that he was, that he's fine. And that was done through genetic genealogy. Phenotyping and other technologies where you can take human remains, you can take a skull and you can create or you can actually take the DNA, you can create a physical profile of what that child would look like. Here we have some of our age progressions. And from all of the ones that I've seen, our age progression folks, they do a really good job with that. For the child, I think you do it after a certain age, you do it like every 5 years. But we try to keep our age progressions going so that if somebody does encounter them, a lot of the times they look pretty spot on as far as the progression. So we have resources for families because that's something that's very, very important that we have something that's not only for law enforcement, but to be able to provide that help, the assistance, the recovery, all of these different things that need to happen to support the family. So we have crisis intervention, peer support, mental health, and community support referrals, reunification assistance, emotional support, legal referrals, those kind of things. And so that's all available. We have a team called the Team Hope, which is made up of families that have had a child that went missing. So they can empathize, they can sympathize, they know what to expect, they know what's coming, they know what some of the things that are available or not available, they can explain certain things. And we usually will start off at that national level, but we'll also bring in all the local resources that can be used as well. So, go ahead. And this is Team Hope and some of the things, like I mentioned, that they will assist with. Our child sex trafficking recovery services team is made up of different regions around the country. And so we always have somebody available. They are not a 24-hour organization, but as far as our case managers are always available, team Adams always available, our call center is always available. So if it's something that we do need off hours, we can always get somebody. Go ahead. We have resources, information for children that are out on the autism spectrum because, as many of you know, there are specific needs, like for instance, water. They're attracted to water when they go missing. There's certain things that they need to be aware of. We have checklists for law enforcement, to go down the checklist and cover some of these things when they're doing their searches. And we have those for generally for all types of missing that are available to law enforcement as well. And once again, some of our child sex trafficking recovery. Go ahead. And when we look at our children that run away, some people say, this is an endangered missing, or this is just a runaway. If we look at it as all children that run away are endangered, they're all being exploited. They're all in danger. So if we're not looking for them, if law enforcement's not looking for them, somebody else will be looking for them that doesn't have their best interest in mind. So that's always something. And some of our prevention resources. We have internet safety training, like I mentioned before, we have internet safety that is age appropriate, that we start at a very young age and work our way up. We have certain things, resources for things like sextortion, or we have to take it down programs. So if we have a teenager, for example, that has explicit material photos of themselves that's out there on the internet, that we can help with taking it all down from there as well. We have resources for online enticement. And what's the biggest threat for children online? And that's access. Because we do get that question a lot. What are the different threats? We analyze different things and we look at what are some of the threats for the vulnerabilities, but really access is a big thing. And here are a few of the resources that we have, whether it's online, we can also have people that come out and do presentations as well. Literature, a lot of different things that we have for internet safety. Go ahead. There's some other things, different types of scenarios and different things, for children. And this is what I was talking about as far as removing sexual explicit content from the internet. If you go on our resources on our website, you'll find that, or you can go see me and I'll give you the literature on that. But go ahead, one more. So we do have information, resources. We have a tribal fellowship program for Native communities. Like I mentioned, Mark Cooley was our very first tribal fellow. He did a fantastic job and stuff to a lot of people. There's in Native communities, I still have people that ask me about Mark. He did a great job. Right now, Melissa McGee from Choctaw in Oklahoma is our tribal fellow, and we're about to announce a new one for this year. And we do have a lot of different resources. Our tribal fellow will come out to a lot of different communities. Our analysts can do specific data for your specific community if you'd like. Go ahead. And you can go on there, and if you go onto the tribal tab, you can actually look at some of the statistics in Indian country on some of the, how we're affected in different ways. One of the things that we've already seen we approach several of you about, possibly if you're looking at retiring in the next few years, possibly coming over to work with Team Adam, work with different parts of MedMed. One of the things that I would love to see more than anything is just to be able to have a lot of Native representation within MedMed, within Team Adam, all our different areas. If we could have somebody from our different Native communities that comes out when a child goes missing. My area of operation is Southern California. And so when a child goes missing, that's where I go. But I would love to have, from a lot of different Native communities, somebody that comes out. And if you're thinking about doing it, it doesn't matter if your whole career is based has been about finding missing children or missing persons or anything like that. That's really not a requirement. And it's not too late if you're already doing something else, but you're interested in doing it. I would highly recommend it. I would suggest it. For me personally, I I didn't set out to do, to find missing children, to work with missing persons or anything like that. That was the furthest thing that I was gonna do. I started my law enforcement career, and I was fast-tracked a certain way, and probably because of my military experience and stuff like that, I was pushed into special operations. And so I trained with Secret Service, DOJ, all these things. I did military protection, executive protection, intelligence, threat assessment, threat management. After a couple of years of doing that, I got hired by Major League Baseball, and I worked 15 years about with them. I started my own company to do threat management. And my plan was to make millions of dollars doing sports protection and all of that stuff. And then one day, out of the blue, I came back from a long run, and I turned on the TV. I was cooling down, and I saw that a child had gone missing in Southern California. And I thought, well, I grew up hunting, and I was in the Marine Corps and law enforcement, and pretty much sustain myself as long as I need to. So I'm going to go out and help search for this child. And her name is Chelsea King. She had been abducted and murdered. And I searched for her. I led a rough-terrain search team, and we didn't find her, but she was found in Lake Hodges in Southern California. And that changed everything. That changed everything for me. I no longer looked at all of those other things that really meant nothing. I really wanted to do something that meant something. And so if that's you looking at something where you want to do something meaningful, something that really makes a difference later when you retire, or if you're looking at you're in the private sector and you want to do a kind of fellowship, I would highly recommend, encourage you to do those things. If you have any questions on what you need to do, reach out to me anytime. And that goes for everybody. If you have any questions about missing children, exploited children, any stuff like that, reach out to me. Come by my table, get my information. I'm available 24/7. That's why I look like this, because I'm here to help. And I encourage you to call me about any questions about any missing as well. I can hopefully be a good resource to your department. And I think with that, I'm all done. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
y'all hear me?
There we go. Thank you. All right, Mark, that was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much for coming out here to do that. We're going to change it up a little bit. I know we have a couple folks on the agenda. They're not quite here yet, so we're going to go ahead and introduce Ms. Chastity Billy from the Navajo Police Department, Swana. If you can come on up and tell us all about it. Okay, well, Rosita's gonna keep going with me. Number one song.
Real quick, I want to see if Tiffany Reed, DeAndre Reed, if you could come up.
Sorry.
Oh, DeAndre Reed. She is Tiffany Reed's sister. She has been doing a lot. She's been working with the Coalition Against Domestic Violence Against Women. She has been doing so much to spread awareness regarding her sister. So I'll have her say a few words. Good morning, everybody. My name is Deanna Reed. My sister is Tiffany Reed. She's been missing out for 20 years since May 17th, 2004. I just want to thank Rosita for putting this together. I know there's a lot of impacted families on the application. So I kind of want to take the spotlight away from me a little bit because I know there are other families out there who are hurting, trying to seek their justice, trying to find their loved ones. So with that, I work with the Coalition of Stop Violence Against Native Women. I'm the Land and Body Violence Coordinator, so I do a lot of the MMIWR work in the state of New Mexico and on the Navajo Nation. One of the things that we're offering is a direct aid fund. If you know any families who are still seeking for their loved ones, we offer up to $3,000 and to help with their advocacy. Their relative has to have been a resident of New Mexico or have gone missing from New Mexico to receive the funds. You could use that funding for your advocacy, purchasing the banner, flyers, search and rescue, and just anything to help with your search and finding your missing loved one. Another thing that I've also done with the coalition is a healing retreat. This year it'll be a 2-year healing retreat and it'll be in July. So if you follow the Coalition of Stop Violence Against Native Women, it'll have our agenda stuff on there. So July will be our next healing retreat. We also do MMIWR for advocacy training to help support families and advocates in resources, training. And then another thing we're going to be doing this year is a first responder training. So I'm hoping to do that in August, and I'm looking at Rosita because I want to have her help me with this. But yeah, I just, thank you guys all for coming out today, despite the weather, the travel, the distance. I know a lot of us have traveled, a couple hours to get here. And so I just really, my heart is with everybody out there that is missing a loved one who is still in search. I've been searching for 20 years for my sister. And that is what really led me to do this work. I didn't want to sit back and wait for everybody to do the work for me. So I kind of put myself back out there, got into school, and just kind of do what I can to help other families and in the ways that my family and I haven't been helped. When my sister went missing, we didn't have all the technology that we have today. So it was really hard. A lot of our work was boots on the ground effort, putting up flyers, posting them, getting them printed, doing our searches, So I'm just really grateful that there's a little bit more resources out there to help the families. So if you guys want to talk to me, we have a booth right out here. I have a couple of my colleagues here with me, Lincoln and Sandra. If you want to talk to them about signing up for membership, we have some resources out there. And I think, Lincoln, do we have directly to our flyers now? Okay. If you guys want to ask me more questions about that, there's a lot of little specifics to it. I know everybody's situation is unique. So I will try my best to get everybody the funding that they need, and it's up to $3,000. If you don't use the full $3,000, we can give you what you need, and if you need to come back, we can supply you with the rest of that funding. But I think that's all I have for now. So thank you guys. Are here with you? Yeah. Okay, so thank you. The next presentation will be Officer Chastity Billy. She will be talking on behalf of the Storm Project and Navajo Police. After that's done, we'll be going with the next video. 10 minutes.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chastity Billy. I'm a police officer here with Navajo Nation. I've been doing this job for about 20 years. I've been in the sex offender program with Navajo Nation for about 6 years. Now, before we begin, I'd like to get to know my audience a little bit more. So how many, I know this is kind of not an obstacle, but we're a resource. So out of the audience, know, how many people know that Navajo Nation has a sex offender website? Okay, all right, so after today, you guys are gonna have another resource. So, I'm not used to being in the spotlight where the light is shining at me, so hopefully you guys can see everything. If I need to move, can I move the mic? Feels like I'm gonna sing up here, so I'll move it. Okay, so Navajo Nation Sex Offender Registry, which is also SORNA. Back here you can see our duties and responsibilities that we do. We do register offenders, sentencing, we do enforcement, monitor, apprehending, and tracking. So that is our main goal for the Navajo Nation. This is gonna be our team, will be the chief of police, and then my main supervisor is gonna be Alicia Williams. So out of the whole Navajo Nation, there's only 2 sex offender registered. So I work in the eastern area. So the areas I cover is gonna be Crown Point, Shiprock, Winderup, and we also tag team with Gallup. Now Officer Benali is gonna be taking care of Kienta, Chinle, Tuba City, and also Gallup. So as you can see, we have a big area to cover with only 2. And we're in the process of hiring civilian registrants, so they can start going out, they can take care of the people and the foundation of the registration, and then being also known are gonna be mainly focusing on the apprehending side, going up there to verify the sex offenders and working with that. So our purpose, our main goal and our purpose for the Navajo Nation is to protect our most precious resources, which is of course, with our children, and to engage into the public, to let the public know, hey, there's a registry system, which we try our best very much to get out there, but in a minute, you'll know why we're not out there, and the numbers that I'm gonna show you are appalling. So the history, as you know, before Navajo Nation took a part of the registry system was given up to the county offices. So with the Eastern Agency, we have 7 counties that we work with. And then out towards, if you go towards Arizona and Utah, they come in small counties, so a lot of them are only 2 or 3. So Crown Point was the pilot program, meaning that was the base, the hub where Crown Point started making contact with the agencies, started getting them letters, and I worked closely with McKinley County because they were the ones that are registering all Navajo sex offenders. So I told her, give me all the offenders that I live, work, or go to school in the Navajo Nation. And we took about 30, I would say 80% of their caseload. And these are our laws, which was implemented by the, of course, Navajo Nation Council. As you can see, 2012 and 2014, the laws began to change. So the most recent one was back in 2003, where they adopted a civilian to be in the office. Other than that, it was up to law enforcement to take care of these offenders. So these are some of the resources we work with. The territorial registry system, which we know is T-Source, is just a database, so that way we can keep track of these offenders who are moving or going on the reservation. And on that database, we have their address, phone numbers, tattoos, employment, if they live with family members, or if who they live with, especially with kids. Now, the one thing about this that was passed by the Navajo Nation Council, these offenders, once they're off federal or state probation, they are allowed to be among children. That's the most question we get asked. And then our sex offender allowed on the Navajo Nation in the school system. Yes, they are allowed once they're off restriction, and it depends on the school policy. How many have children in school that don't know if they have sex offender policy? Yes. Nobody? Okay, so majority of the Navajo Nation, the schools we went to, a lot of them don't have policy against sex offenders being on their school campus. But I do commend Kienta, Arizona. They did print out all the sex offenders who live in their community, and they did educate their security guards. So when a sex offender comes on their community, they automatically call Kienta Police Department. So just keep that in mind that some schools don't have this policy in place. So this is the police department that we work, and then also the tap machine will be the traffic access program. As you know, Navajo Nation is pretty laid back on their technology, but we were fortunate enough to work with the Department of Justice, and they gave us a tap machine so we can start running people's fingerprints, these offenders. So if we run, and if an offender comes in and he tells them, especially when they're released from bureau prisons or state prison, we're the last person they want to see, somebody in law enforcement. They come in with, attitude, they don't want to give us information, they won't even give us their judgment and sentencing, which is a document saying what their sex conviction is. So, that's fine, as long as we can get their fingerprint and we can send that off to, FBI, and FBI will give us their rap sheet indicating of all their sex offenses. So that's how we have this tap machine. We have this tap machine about 6 years now. And I'm grateful to say that all police departments do have this tap machine, but we want to extend this program to the Department of Social Service, to NHA housing, because we know we do have offender training in the housing area. So this machine is there, this software is there, but we need more people to utilize this software. If you guys have any questions on how to get trained on it, let me know, I'll be happy to help you on that. We are certified into our own NCIC, so we do run information on these offenders, triple I, they will say. You can go to. So this is the nomination, this is the outline. These are the areas we cover for the registry and also the nomination. So we go by tier levels. We did adopt the Adam Walsh Act. We go by tier levels. So tier 1, they come in every once a year for 15 years. Tier 2, they come in twice a year for 25 years. Now tier 3 is every 3 months for a lifetime. And I'm going to say nomination, majority of the offenders are tier 3, so we're at 90%. And these offenders are lifetime. The only time we move them from the registry is if they're deceased or they move off of the jurisdiction of the application. So right now, the numbers that we currently have, I took this morning, is 731 living on the nomination. And this is taken care of by 2 police officers. Tier 1, we have 77, which we only come in once a year. Tier 2 is 115, and our lifetime is 557. Usually I get rolls right there, so you need to say it. Okay, so our numbers are broke down by the district there of the offenders. So also we do cover RAMA. RAMA is part of our registry system. She is also assistant to the nomination, so we do try to help them out as much as we can. Moving on to the next slide. So this is just a quote. I don't know if you guys have ever watched this movie. It is heartwarming, and I did watch it, and being into this profession, we don't know what we're going to come across. We don't know what we're going to see. We don't know. But being in this this specialty program that I have been through, I have read things that I thought I could never handle. But we also have an outlet. So my outlet would be my family, my kids. So I'm saying, Officer Benali not always say that we're dealing with the sickest of the nomination. We have medicine men that are registering. We have majority of the incest. Majority of them are victims of below 12. The youngest victim that, not the youngest victim, but the youngest victim that went through our registry was an 18-month as a victim. So these cases are severity. Sometimes it's very hard to read. And I can vouch my husband does a lot of my debriefing at home. So go ahead to the next slide. And then teamwork. This is very important to us. And thank you for bringing me here, because I'm another resource. And not just that you're missing a murder, but also about these predators out there, to be aware that our website is available out there. I do work closely with the outside agency, New Mexico Department of Justice, New Mexico State, Arizona. We do work closely with U.S. Marshals, so that's my team there that I work closely. A lot of networking and resources as well. We build most of our sex offender registry. So So these are just what we're going through. We're trying to work with the Navajo Nation, government to change some of our laws. With the absconders meaning the offender actually came in to register but never came back to update with the Navajo Nation. Failure to register meaning that the offender did leave the prison and came onto the Navajo Nation but never registered. So those are the two different things. Try to get more laws against medicine men to, need more tribal prosecutors to be more involved into our program to get them educated. We're at year 1 now. We're still trying to establish our foundation for the Navajo Nation. Year 3, we're looking at maybe more civilian personnel. And then year 5, our goal is to fully function and to have everything, build a good foundation for the program to succeed. And we're getting about 50% of that goal indictments and then also with federal convictions. So this is our scan code. I do have flyers. I'll be in the building next door if you guys need a copy of it. Download it on your phone. You can upload everything on the, you can't upload, but you can look at who's on the national website. And then with the Navajo Nation, we do upload this it's constantly changing their phone numbers, their appearance, their vehicles, all that is in there. So again, Officer Benali and me, and then the Commander Felicia Williams. So you guys are a little bit quiet. So in order to get you guys awake, I do have a video. Okay, now you guys gotta hear me sing. Well, we just did an operation about a week ago, last week. We went up to the state of Utah. We did home verification. We executed 1 federal warrant, 1 travel warrant. So this is an annual thing that we do. We're trying to, let's see. So we try to do this an annual thing, but being that Navajo Nation is so scarce for police officers, it's definitely a challenge. So what we do is we go out to the outside agencies, mostly the U.S. Marshals, Navajo Rangers, to help us get these address verifications done. And when we go out there, a lot of their girlfriends, a lot of their family members don't know that this person is a registered sex offender. So a lot of them ask a lot of questions. We get phone calls daily of the offenders, what they're doing. Is the video gonna play? No. No? Oh, that was my encore right there. Okay. But yeah, if you guys want to see it, you're going to set up the video on there. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to help, and thank you for inviting me here. Hope you did learn something. Thank you.
Right, okay, so next up, we have folks from the Attorney General's office in Mexico, Danica, Mike, and Stephanie.
Okay. Hinamoko Yvonne Hedemai this morning, yes, Hinamoko Yvonne. Nakatayham Echud, Teshikwem. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Padilla, but my Psyche name is Echud, which means yellow corn, and I'm from the Pueblo of Isleta. Thank you so much for having us today. I'm going to allow my colleagues to introduce themselves as well.
Good morning, my name is Michael King, and I'm an Assistant Attorney General with the New Mexico Department of Justice.
I'm Matt. I also work with Mike at the New Mexico Department of Justice.
And so we're here today to talk about the New Mexico Department of Justice's Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples Task Force. We we have a slide prepared, it's up, thank you so much. And I'm also the chair on that task force. Danica and Michael helped tremendously by organizing, communicating with communities, traveling all over the place, even in this crazy weather. So thank you to you both. I'll let you two go ahead and take it away for this first slide.
So for this first slide, I think it's helpful for us to distinguish between the current task force and the previous task force that was really kind of organized and run by the New Mexico Indian Affairs Department. And so that task force did produce a response plan in 2022 that we have looked at and incorporated that framework into some of the work that we're doing with our current task force. However, the previous task force was disbanded in 2023. And as a response, there was a Senator Memorial that came in 2024 that said, New Mexico Department of Justice, Attorney General of New Mexico, your office is now in charge of creating a new task force to further the initiatives that were mentioned in the previous 2022 response plan and to make ongoing legislative recommendations. So there's two very different task forces, and we often get questions about it or potentially criticisms at times saying like, you guys haven't done anything in the past 3 years, and it's because we just started. And so that's the reason. And so I wanted to make the distinction, and also the distinction between the Indian Affairs Department and our bureau, which is the Indian Affairs Bureau within the New Mexico Department of Justice, because those are also separate. And it's also confusing, can also be confusing, is the titling of our department, the New Mexico Department of Justice, in terms of the Department of Justice, which is federal. So it can be confusing. If you guys ever have questions or people have questions, just encourage them to contact us, and we're happy to go ahead and clarify things for them. Move on to the next slide. Okay. So yeah. So really what this task force is able to accomplish is what I just mentioned, those two goals that were highlighted in Senator Memorial 2, which is review and update that 2022 response plan. And if people haven't read it, it's a phenomenally accurate and detailed plan. It just happens to be like over 100 pages long, so it does take some time to get through, but it's incredibly helpful and it's detailed. And so the task force is reviewing that, and now we'll be making updated recommendations that are hopefully going to prove successful for the state of New Mexico. And the other thing that the task force is able to do is to provide ongoing recommendations to the state legislature to bring about change, to have bills that can actually help bring about change, whether that's in terms of funding or new laws or other supports. So that's really what this task force is able to do. And I also want to just note one more thing, that these are the two goals that are highlighted in Senator Memorial 2, but that doesn't mean that the task force is limited to only those two things. As the years go on, the task force will identify new goals, and that will expand the work that the task force is able to do. Go to the next slide, please.
Alrighty. Yeah, and just to go off of that a little bit, like last slide, we are also trying to get a little bit creative with the funds that are available to us. Of course, because it's a government entity, it's very specific on what we can spend it for. But we are going to, throughout the years, try to put on events for the families of those who are missing their relatives. So look out for those. So the next slide is how will these goals be accomplished? We've recently all, I don't want to say separated because we're all still working together as one task force, but we've kind of created different subcommittees where everyone can kind of put in their specific knowledge and expertise in updating that 2022 state response plan. And so you can see behind me, we have the legislative subcommittee who will primarily be in charge of hearing from the other subcommittees on legislative recommendations that we want put before the legislature and then organizing in that way. An information technology subcommittee, which will be helping tremendously in updating that New Mexico DOJ portal that is currently up, and then also looking at other IT issues that exist throughout Indian country. We have the law enforcement training subcommittee, and that kind of speaks for itself. That subcommittee is going to gather primarily law enforcement officers that are on that subcommittee to see how they can further promote best practices, training, etc. throughout the state, law enforcement specific. We have the resources for tribal judiciary system subcommittee. That was kind of a long name, but again, it kind of speaks for itself. And then at the very end, we have the resource data subcommittee and the community impact subcommittee, who will work very closely together. Those two subcommittees are, if you're familiar with the 2022 state response plan, handling those like first three objectives that are in that plan, primarily focused on community outreach, what we can do to more directly contact, make impact, and assist our community members. So I think that's about it for that slide.
Okay, so as Stephanie mentioned, the NMDOJ has a missing and murdered Indigenous peoples portal. This was launched back in the summer, but we're currently making innovations, or we're innovating it and adding to it. So right here are links to it, which you can't click, but if you go to nmdoj.gov, there's a page with our initiatives, and one of them is the portal. So right now, the portal has a list of all the missing individuals from New Mexico, as well as Navajo Nation, and we get that data directly from the FBI. So it should be updated regularly. The portal has photos and some basic information about these individuals, but we're also working on improving it. So one thing that we're going to launch soon is an in memoriam section. So some folks have been, their remains have been found, they're no longer missing, but we still want to honor them and have them featured somewhere. So we're inviting families to post photos, to share stories about these people, showing that more than a statistic, more than a number. We're also hoping to launch on there an events calendar, because many of you are activists and involved in this community and are hosting your own events like this one. And we want to broadcast that and also invite people who come to our website to support you all. So that will be there, and if you're hosting an event, you can add that to the portal. Another thing is the missing posters, or missing persons poster generator. So we already have information on there, like photos, names, basic identifying details. And I know a lot of you create your own posters, do all that amazing work. But to make it easier for folks, if they want to use the website, just to kind of generate a basic flyer to make it easier for them, they can do that. They can do their own whatnot. We just want to give folks the opportunity to do that. So that's the public facing side of the portal, but our portal also exists to connect different law enforcement agencies throughout the state and throughout tribal lands as well. So right now, Mike and I have been going to different communities and meeting with these agencies and talking about how they can participate with us on this portal. So on the back end, if folks decide to join, they'll have a unique username where they can log on. And if there are cases in their jurisdiction, they can enter specific information that they have that they're willing to share. Because we know sometimes folks might go missing. They're from Navajo Nation, but they were missing in Albuquerque, but then maybe they went to Arizona or something. So we want to make sure that families kind of are aware of what's going on, and the law enforcement agencies are actually talking to each other. So that's kind of the big thing we're doing with the portal of that. So if we haven't talked to your law enforcement agency already, we probably will. You can also come talk to us about it if you have questions.
and this is our, I think this is our last slide. There's gonna be contact information on the last one, but this is, I just wanted to take the opportunity to, again, distinguish Danica and my roles. And so we are lucky enough to act as legal counsel to the MMIP task force, but also as Indian Affairs Bureau attorneys. Our job is more expansive than just that. Danica talked about the points that we're able to go out and communicate with different communities and connect with them, especially as it relates to the MMIP portal. But even beyond that, whenever we go out to the communities, we are always welcoming feedback or encouraging people to contact us with concerns that they might be seeing within their own communities. And so one of the things that Danica and I have also been engaging with basically the entirety of our time with DOJ has been community members contacting us individually and raising specific issues. Sometimes it is related to an MMIP concern, other times it's related to a housing concern or like a contractual issue with a tribal entity, things of that nature. And so if there are consumer issues that are also bubbling up, whether it be potential price gouging concerns or unfair loans or loans that are charging exorbitant interest rates, those type of things are things that we definitely want to hear about. And even if, I guess if there's a question that you guys might have that I didn't just talk about in general, you guys should still contact us. We encourage you. Our contact information is going to be on the last slide. But we also have a lot of cards at our table, and so we encourage everybody to come and talk with us, I guess, in the afternoon session of today's event. So thank you, everyone. Oh yeah, and so Stephanie just reminded me, our next MMIP task force meeting is going to be April 4th in Farmington. The meetings are going to be open to the public unless the task force decides that there has to be some confidential discussions and then they close it temporarily. But it is going to be, I think, 11 to 4, 11 to 3. It's going to be in Farmington. There's going to be the option to join virtually too. We have flyers, so you can register to join via the flyers, and then we send out all of the Zoom information to those registrants so that way they can join virtually, or they have a flyer that has all the information about where it's going to be in person. Yep.
Sorry, just one more thing. I also just want to encourage everyone, if you can, to attend those. We do welcome public comment either at the beginning or end of those meetings. You'll be able to see on the flyers and on the registration when that'll be. But specifically what I was talking about, those subcommittees, if you have any input on how you think those subcommittees should work, or if you have like a suggestion or a resource that you think would be helpful to any of those subcommittees, that would be so great for you to share. So please come and join us, and I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DOJ. One thing I forgot to mention, as far as one of my projects that I am completing, is the Navajo Police Department's missing person webpage. So their terminal will also be available on that page as well. So the next presenters would be the New Mexico Department of Public Safety Clearinghouse. After that, there would be the Four Corners, and then the project team, traffic team. So we're trying to make sure to get by 12:30, and then have the families come up here and be introduce themselves, and then we can divert to this group. So I'll go ahead and give it to you, Octavian.
A lot of short answers up here, yes. Can you all hear me? Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us today. We want to thank the families for being here, and the advocacy groups for being here, especially for having a voice for the ones that don't have a voice, and never let them be forgotten. My name is Octavian Valencia. I'm the staff manager over the New Mexico Department of Clearinghouse. I also oversee our sex offender unit, our uniform crime reporting, which is known as our NCIC, and I want to, before I get started, I want to introduce my staff introduce themselves. These are the individuals that are dear to me. These are the heart of my organization. These are the ones that are the troops on the ground. These are the ones that are working countlessly, day in and day out. So I'll let them in.
Hi, I'm Amanda Macias. I'm the Special Projects Supervisor, so I supervise NCAC missing persons and neighbors for the state.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jessica Amaya. I am the missing persons coordinator, and I've been with the Department of Public Safety for 3.5 years. Hi, good morning. My name is Dakota Urban, and I've been at PPS for 2 months now. But I'm a missing person analyst at PPS.
Thank you, ladies. How many of you know what the New Mexico Department of Public Safety Clearinghouse is and what we do? That's show of hands. Okay, great, wonderful. We can get the slideshow up. So what I'm going to go over today is who we are, what we do, and the resources that we have to families and to law enforcement as well. So while we're waiting for that, I'll just explain who the Department of Public Safety Clearinghouse is. We are the central repository for the state of New Mexico. So any missing person that is entered as a missing person will go through our department. We disseminate posters. There you go. Next slide, please. Here we go. We also adopt rules to establish the missing persons clearinghouse and for procedures for law enforcement as well. Go to the next slide, please. All this information gets entered into the NCIC system. We are also present within the communities, and we're going to be offering this today as well. We offer fingerprint profiles. None of the information that we take today will be saved. It's given all to the family, and this family keeps it in the event that a child or an individual goes missing. They provide it to law enforcement. We also provide DNA swabs that will also you can provide to law enforcement if a loved one goes missing. There's no age limit on this, so everyone is welcome today. If you're something you want to do, we'll be in the resource center. You guys are more than welcome to come out. We also have swag out there. So come please see us if you have any questions. Also reach out to us. One important thing that the missing person clearinghouse also does is disseminate posters, and family members are able to print these out. I want to note here, if you all will have our QR code so you can look at our website. If there's any family member that you identify that doesn't have a picture, you all are more than welcome to contact the New Mexico, our department, the clearinghouse, and provide a photo. It has to be a photo within 5 years. There can't be any filters on it. And we can post it and publish it on our website. Like Chief was talking about, we have the Susan block. So as you all know, there's no waiting period. A lot of times there's a stigma, oh, they have to wait 24 hours. Absolutely not. If someone feels that an individual is missing within their family, there's no waiting period. And then we're trying to break down the stigma of jurisdictional issues as well. So if it happens on state land and that individual is called out, we are drilling down to law enforcement that they shall. The way statute reads, they shall take the report regardless of jurisdiction. We also work very closely with the New Mexico State Police, who issues the alerts for our department. As you all know, we have the Amber Alert. I won't go into details of what the are and get there, what the guidelines are for it. We also have the Silver Alert, which is identified as a missing person who's 55 years or older, or that they have a clear indication that suffers from Alzheimer's disease or other form of dementia. And then we also have the Brittany Alert, which someone has a developmental disability, defined in our state statute. Also, we have the endangered alert. An individual has to be in danger or caused to harm to a person's self, or caused harm to someone else, or then immediate danger being harmed by another person or being harmed by another. And there's some other statutory requirements there as well. One important thing that I want to bring up too is the next slide is the stats. This is unfortunate, and this is very disheartening to see these type of numbers. One important thing to note here is that the New Mexico Department of Public Safety and New Mexico was the first state in the nation to implement the NCIC tribal affiliation, which is very important when we're trying to understand where this issue is coming from. So as you can see, the stats are here. We also have the stats available at our table, so you're more than welcome to take those up. Next slide. This is an important date for us. This is something new that we're doing to the Department of Public Safety. We have our missing persons date by state statute that we're required to do. That day is going to be on October 18th. On October 17th, we'll have law enforcement training. As soon as this information gets drilled down more, we'll be disseminating that information. However, what this is, or keep it back up one more. This here, this QR code, anyone is welcome to come up to this and see how to plan that event. This is for families to have a voice, to really encourage you to come out to this day to help us prepare for the Missing Persons Day on October 18th. So this is what you want to see there. Please come out, please join us, scan the QR code. It's going to be in Santa Fe. It's going to be one of many, so we have that too. So we encourage everyone to come out. And again, this is the date for the actual Missing Persons Day on October 18th. And then this is our contact information. The QR code will take you directly to our webpage, and our contact information is up here as well. We'll also be in the resource center, so if anyone has any questions, any concerns, please come out and talk with us. We just want to thank you again. So thank you, everyone.
David, you're so tall. I have to step up here. You're on my basketball team. So the next presenter will be Border Corners Canine Search and Rescue, and after that, we can trafficking. Ms. Vaughn and her crew. Bernadine, hello. Short anything, so you just lower my center. See the slide.
Young A. Shea, Bernadine Diallo, the ship, Todajini, the strength, Kiani, Bashichi, the Aki, A. Shea, Konagaki, A. Shinoa. This is our contact information for our organization. There's an email address there for you to contact us. Also, we have a table located on the south side of the building with information. Next slide. Our vision is to locate, rescue, and recover lost and missing persons on Native American tribal lands and their surrounding communities. Our mission is by serving victims and families with empathy, compassion, and respect, we provide immediate hope, relief, and support during the agonizing trauma of having a missing loved one. Next slide. So I tried to compress this presentation into 10 minutes. So this is breaking barriers, why we started and how we operate. Why did we start this organization? Limited access to recognized resources, delays in deployment, critical time loss. So I started search and rescue with the state of New Mexico back in 2016. And the state of New Mexico search and rescue teams if they report to the Department of Public Safety, they're classified as recognized resources. When I was a part of the team with the state of New Mexico, we couldn't deploy on searches unless we were requested by state police or the Department of Public Safety. So a time came along when an elderly Navajo families needed help. They approached us at an event and said, we need help. We're not getting the help we need. Our son's been missing for 6 months. How can you help us? So at that time, I asked my team, hey, can we help this family? And I was told, no, you can't, because we're a resource of the state of New Mexico, we just don't self-deploy. And that didn't make sense to me, and I was like, what? But they need help, right? Why don't we go help? Why do we have to wait on other people to tell us if we can help or not help? So I did it like that. And then I started learning more and more about other families out there that were doing searches and looking for their loved ones on their own. So in 2022, I formed Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue. And that's where the taking action part comes in. So how we operate, there is no waiting on outside approval. We are not a resource to, or we are not a recognized resource to the state of New Mexico. So I don't wait for anybody to tell me when I can go or when I can't go. So if a family calls us, or a law enforcement agency, go out there and assist them if we're available. Before we do that for deployment, we have to gather a lot of necessary information, because we get lots of calls, and not every call we get, we can do a search for. You know, there's a lot of information that has to go into it before we can go out there. Because our team's unique because we have canines, and the canines work in a special way when they're out there on searches. There's a science behind the work they do. So we make sure we gather a lot of necessary details. We make sure we communicate and collaborate. If a family reaches out to us and there's already Navajo police, Navajo missing persons unit on their case, we make that call. So I talk with Sergeant Sosi a lot, asking him if he's done anything with this family and their case. We collaborate and communicate. There's some instances when families haven't done that step yet. They haven't talked to an officer, so they're talking with us. So we're really trying to bridge that gap there. And once we get all the information we need, then we mobilize to our searches. Next slide. So these are just a list of services we provide. Canine Search and Rescue, we assist agencies with connecting them to their families. We do a lot of mapping and GPS and compass work in our organization. We're out there doing community and school presentations. And just recently, we started doing training, basic search and safety protocols with families, because I noticed families are starting to go out there on their own searches, and we really don't want them. We want them to be safe. We want them to do the right thing. So we felt that we need to try to give them the best tools to be in their tool belt to be out there. Also to educate, so they're not contaminating the areas, they're not contaminating evidence, but most of all, educating them on the mental part of it, because not everybody can do what we do. You know, are you ready to be out there and see what you might see? Are you ready to go out there and see your relative? So there's a lot that goes into it, and that's why we started doing basic search and safety protocol training to families. And then we connect families to necessary resources and advocates that they're looking for. Next slide. So funding our own mission, no cost to families. Our priority is to bring loved ones home. We're not doing this to make a profit. And no one should be charging you to help you find your loved one. No one should be charging you for searches. So I wanted to make that a point to all of you today. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We do not receive payment for our canine search and rescue efforts. All our funding comes from personal contributions, comes out of my own pocket, comes out of my own team members' pocket. We do a lot of fundraising events if we can, and then we try to reach out to other organizations in the community to help us out with donations to keep doing what we're doing. And the support matters. Every donation helps cover essential canine search and rescue expenses, covers our equipment, our canine care, and our travel expenses. Next slide. So this is just a real quick list of all of my certifications. Done everything I can to learn about FEMA. FEMA is something we utilize within our operations. and it's the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We also follow NASAR, which is National Association of Search and Rescue. That's what we use as our procedures and guidelines within our search and rescue, so that we follow the incident command structure, we follow chain of command. Those practices are very instilled into our group. Next slide. This is team certifications. So all our team members get certified. Like I mentioned earlier, they all have to know FEMA, they have to pass the SARTEC certification exam. And then the other list of items there are hands-on training I do with all our team members. So they have to learn about search theory, the incident command system, how to run the incident base. They go through navigation, radio communications, crime scene preservation, bulk identification, lost person behavior, first aid, public relations, and most important, cultural sensitivity, because of these areas we're searching. Next slide. These are our team leaders. Over here to my right, that's Benny, he's our Czechoslovakian shepherd. Benny's from the Mexico-Texas border. He just turned 4 last month. He's our lifeline and AirSense HRD dog. This is Moby to my left. Moby is our British Labrador. Moby is 2. Moby comes to us from Alabama, and he's strictly our cadaver dog. These 2 were tirelessly out there for us and the work we're doing, and they love it. This is what they were bred to do. So I appreciate all that. I appreciate all the hours that the team puts in to train with these guys. And one important thing about Moby and Gunny is, you know, Moby's from Texas-Mexico border, or Moby's from Alabama, Gunny's from Texas-Mexico border, but all their commands are done in Navajo. Next slide. And this is, I didn't change my title to, instead of founder, I become a co-founder. This is actually our founder. This is the guy I started search and rescue with the state of New Mexico in 2016. This is Trigger, he's a black and tan German Shepherd. But we lost Trigger in February last year to cancer. And he did over 120 searches in his career from 2016 to 2024. And he assisted over 110 families. So this is the guy that started everything. We do everything we can to carry on his legacy every day. So just real quick, some things we have upcoming. We have a couple big events we're planning, and once we finalize those, we'll share it on our social media. We have something really big coming with TAT, and that's Truckers Against Trafficking. It's going to be this human trafficking event that we're going to partner with them on. And then we have another event in regards to strengthening resource relationships for families. And then we're planning to do a rollout on educating communities on Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'll tell you why in a slide. Also trying to roll out search and rescue training to communities and chapter houses, because a lot of this is happening in home communities and no one's doing anything about it. So we want to see what we can do to start reaching out to chapter house communities to help with prevention and educating their community members. And then we're going to be finalizing certifications and recertifications for team members by the end of this month. And then both our canines will have recertifications this year. So we're going to get everybody back up to the level they need to be at with their certifications. Next slide. So this is our stats slide. Again, we started in 2022, we see 2023, 2024, and then 2025. The number on top are all the phone calls I get. Like I said, not all phone calls turn into searches. Then below, you see the number of searches we've done. 25, 34, 30, and 10. And then those are the numbers of demographics between men and women and their ages that we've gone out and looked for. Down below men, you see assistants. What this means is how many times we had law enforcement out there with us or some other agency out there that we were assisting on these searches. So when we first started in 2022, we went on 25 searches. And we only had an officer out there with us one time. Then you go to 2023, we did 34 searches. And then we had an officer with us 17 times on those searches. That takes a lot of work. It took a lot of relationship building. It takes trust, but you can't give up on it. And that's what we try to tell families. Well, I'm very fortunate that I sort of had a building block to build off of because both my parents were Navajo police officers in the Crown Point area, so that's where I started out. And I'm very fortunate for Sergeant Sosi and his missing persons unit for working with us all this way to try to make this better. Then you look at 2025. It's kind of, this worries me, and I have a slide that we're gonna talk about, but we've already been on 10 searches. And of those searches, six of those had to have been for elderly people. Next slide. So I kind of want to leave you guys to go home with something, think about it today, on your drive home, your flight home. This concerns me, you know, missing people. A lot of it's alcohol, substance abuse related, domestic violence, family violence, trafficking. But in the past 2.5 months, we had 6 cases, 5 men and 1 woman, elderly people that went missing. And sadly, all of these came up deceased. And a majority of them is because of alcohol abuse, because of bootleggers and exploitation in our communities. How do we get rid of bootleggers? How do we stop that? The sad thing is, people in the community know who it is. Yeah, that's Bob. Bob picks him up. Bob's always picking up him. Bob takes him to town, gets beer, and he dumps him off somewhere and sells the alcohol. So how do we stop that? And that's what I'm challenging you guys with today. Where do we need to go to stop this? You know, how do we charge these guys with elderly abuse? We need to start thinking outside the box to stop this, because I for one don't like that. We lost 6 of our own elderly relatives. And this is just the calls I get. There's so many more of this small amount of searches that we dealt with in regards to elderly. Next slide. Part of also the elderly that went missing is some of them are going through Alzheimer's and dementia. And I don't think we do a good enough educating in our communities about Alzheimer's and dementia with our elderly people. Because, you know, us as Native people, we don't prepare for sickness. You know, we don't prepare for disease. Because back in the day, when someone got sick, what did their tribe do to them? They thought it was an evil spirit or something that overcame them. So their tribe said, you need to go out that way and stay out there. You know, they weren't invited back. So I feel like that's one of the causes of educating our communities. So that's why one of our future events is we want to try to roll out Alzheimer's and dementia education to community. Not only what it is, but how do you prepare for it? You know, do we start putting sensors on the door? Do we start locking the top of the door? Learning your elderly relatives' routines. So I just wanted to put that in you guys' thoughts today. Next slide. So how do we turn our challenges into action? I've been in this for 3 years now, and I wish I could stand up here and tell you guys it's getting better. This is how much it's getting better, if you can even see that. We're on ground zero. We deal with these families every day. We see what they're struggling with. And I see that more training is needed. More search and rescue training is needed to agencies and law enforcement. More canine training is essential because canines work differently in the search and rescue aspect versus drug dogs and apprehension dogs. They work totally different. Then lack of awareness. We go out into these remote areas and most people don't know about us. So if they don't know about us, they don't know about you guys. And then you guys don't know about us, we don't know about each other unless you attend something like this. So how do we do better on that, on educating people that you're here and I'm here? Then we have, this one gets me all the time, limited collaboration. I come to these events, I meet people. Bernie, call me, will help you. Bernie will help you. Hey, you're in this area, will help you. Guess what? When I make those calls to ask for your help, you're not picking up the phone. And I see that with other agencies as well. And time is of the essence. We are getting calls too late. It needs to be better, it needs to be faster. I can't be successful, nor other law enforcement or agencies can be successful if we don't start getting the calls quicker, if we don't get on the ground quicker. And we need to improve our outreach. How do we connect with others and get requests faster? So my favorite one there at the bottom is jurisdiction. I've talked to so many different people on how can we address this? How can I help educate our community and families on what jurisdiction is? And when I talk to so many different people, I don't like the answer I get. It's always, Verity, it depends. And that answer is not an effective solution. So again, challenging us all, how do we fix it? How do we change it? How do we educate about it? Because I'm tired of being up here again and saying, this is all that's happening still. Next slide. So I just want to say, our team that's on the ground, we see everything firsthand. We hear the cries for help from families. We see what's working. We see what's failing. We see who's showing up. We see who isn't. We are constantly inviting leadership to step out of their offices and witness the reality themselves. How can we make the right decisions to save our missing people if no one is there to see the problem firsthand? The truth is clear. We need to do better. Everybody in this building needs to do better. The time for observation is over, and the time for action is now. Thank you all for your time. I was in the movie.
So our last people to present is going to be very short, but you guys can meet them. They have several organizations that are here, so I do appreciate you guys. You guys have came from Alabama, Georgia, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Vaughn. But at the meantime, can the family start making their way on this side? And Mr. Billy, you can grace us with another ending prayer. And where, if you're, we're sort of cutting for another song or something.
Good morning, afternoon, I guess. I don't know what time it is right now. But thank you so much for having us. Rosita, she introduces me as her California sister, so thank you so much for for opening your heart and family to me. We have Ella Wilson here. I know she can introduce herself. She's been a Navajo prosecutor, former Navajo prosecutor for a very long time, and we're so fortunate to have her part of our team. My name is Melina Long. I'm with the Project Foundation. We're an anti-human trafficking foundation that pretty much really focuses on human trafficking prevention. We are, we appreciate the efforts of people who are rescuing and providing other services, but we feel that we need to really double down on prevention. Someone once told me, if a community or people don't know what a fire looks like, then they don't know who to call. But so that goes for human trafficking as well. Not many people are able to identify what human trafficking is, what it looks like. So therefore, police officers are not going to get the phone call. But we understand that it happens. I also want to personally thank Lieutenant Sisla. He's been a part of our human trafficking task force. We've launched here in New Mexico, Gallup, New Mexico, the Project Broken Arrow at the height of COVID 2021, summer 2021. And since then, we've built many relationships, so we appreciate each and every one of you here today. It means so much that we're here to be a part of the community and build upon what we can do to help, because honestly, we just saw a need. We saw a need and we responded to it. And we're here to stay. We've been here for over 3 years, and we've just finished a first responder training for anti-human trafficking efforts for first responders. So we have officers here. So thank you so much for coming, and people in healthcare, different hospitals, and even just community leaders that showed up. And I can tell you, at the end of that training, people just didn't want to leave. That means that people are hungry. We're hungry to do something about it. So that's what we're here to do, to fill in the gaps and just work with everybody, provide whatever we have access to resources that we want to pour into Gallup, and as far as technology and all the things that we have available. I want Ellen here to share a bit about her experience of working with us and what she's been seeing and the importance of human trafficking efforts.
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, Ellen Wilson is Tachi, don't put it to Bashi. My Che is Taban, and my Nami is here I'm from Twin Lakes, New Mexico. I am involved in my community as a club's member, community land use planning committee, to give back to my people. After I left the prosecutor's office in 2021, I served 23 years under the Navajo Nation Department of Justice as a prosecutor. I worked as a juvenile prosecutor with children's cases, delinquency, neglect, abuse, child in need of supervision, and then criminal cases. So I know how everything affects what happens when there's a missing person. There's jurisdictional issues. I've worked with law enforcement in Navajo, with the FBI, with Navajo County, Apache County, Sheriff's Department, McKinley County, on all these issues. So a lot of times Melanie and Patrice, who's also a founder, would contact me or need answers on some issues in Navajo, because it's not cut and dry. It's not like, oh, we can do it this way, but there's things you need to look at. The Dene people have been here for a long time, and they have their own traditions, they have their own ways. Just this morning, the song in Navajo was beautiful, and everything else that's going to happen. I really, first of all, want to mention that the need for juvenile, not detention, but shelters in the city of Gallup and Navajo Nation is needed for these children that are being targeted, that are being trafficked, because working on the delinquency cases, neglect, abuse cases, I saw that a lot of these children ran away from home because they were being abused in their own home. And then when they left home, usually in the middle of the night, because they couldn't take it, they were picked up at night, either by a human trafficker, by adults that would abuse them more, and they had nowhere to go. If there was a shelter for our children, for the children under 18, that could be a place for them to stay, where they would be safe. And I have told the council this before. I believe the mayor from the city of Gallup is here. From my experience of 23 years, because I work these cases all over, I just didn't deal with one. If I got a call from another district from law enforcement, I worked in Winter Rock, I get calls from Dilcom, Crown Point, Chinle, to the city. I guess they have my name, my phone number and my name by the phone, and they call me in the middle of the night. We need help, we need this guy to be put in detention, we need, we're looking for this child, can we extradite this person? So that's my experience that I've learned, and I want to give back. I am still licensed in the Navajo Nation courts. I practice law in the Navajo Nation a lot for children, for child custody issues and guardianship, because a lot of these children the relatives are fighting over them. So I want to help these families. A lot of them are indigent. I help as much as I can. And I'm just saying, to give back to my community, and being in the task force, I did that because I met Melanie and Patrice in 2021, and they had the heart. They saw the need for the especially the ladies that were abused and they were being taken advantage of. And they helped her, this one lady they helped her, and they said, we need to do more. And they asked me to be a part of the task force. That was right when I retired. I was like, I'm just retiring. I don't know if I want to do that, but I'm busier now than I am, with the 300 cases, 400 cases I had as, in my criminal cases. But it's really important because I see what these Dene families are going through. What I want to say to a lot of the people is when your children or grandchildren are doing their video games, please be aware and keep an eye on who they're talking to, on what they're doing, because these pedophiles are on the internet tracking them, asking them, where do you live? Who's home? Is your mom and dad home? What are you doing? And that happened with my grandson. But nothing happened to him because I caught it. And I told him, do not tell anyone where you live. Do not tell them your name, how old you are, because they're going to target you. So he's being trained, and I'm training him. Also my other grandchildren. So I believe it's really important that we continue with this human trafficking task force. I'm thankful for all of you that appeared, and officials, city officials, Navajo Nation, for all the community members, the organizations. It's important for you to collaborate. We need to collaborate with each other, to have unity, and to see the need of what's going on in the city of Gallup, surrounding area, and the Navajo Nation. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to point out, we have a Broken Arrow Human Trafficking Task Force meets every month on the third Wednesday of every month from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. And if you're able to meet in person, we welcome you to come to meet at the library, Octavia Gallup Library, main library. And those that cannot attend in person, we can go ahead and go to our website, theprojectfoundation.org. Our link to the meeting is there for every single month. So thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna have these two individuals also introduce themselves because they did come a long way too as well. They have been doing so well. Thank you. Okay, let's start. Oh, yeah, everyone, hello. Thank you for inviting us up here to speak. She'e Bernard and Chef Auto is talking in French here versus she. She and She'e Auto and she Tashinala. So hopefully thing on Shaw Auto. I am a mother of 5, and I am part of the American Indian movement in Navajo. I just introduced you to myself to you in my plan. I am Navajo, born for Carrying House, and both my paternal and maternal grandfathers are Saltman. I'm from an area called Sheep Springs, New Mexico, which is literally down the road. I'm a mother of 5. I don't have any children yet, and I've been part of the American movement for 10 years in our community. We have 2 chapters centered in our Navajo Nation. One is grassroots. That one is the Indian Territory, and then we also have the American Indian Movement in Navajo, which I am part of. My first 4 years in the movement, I was a female leader, doing a lot in our community's grassroots. Bernadette touched briefly on that. What we are seeing is a lot of these systems are getting in our way of helping our communities. There's a lot of bureaucracy that we have to navigate before we can even help our people. With our movement, we do direct action, we mobilize at the community. We don't have to ask for permission. We're in there on the ground advocating for our people. And that's what I love about what I do. I am also a social worker, so I am a professional too. And I do what I do in my career as an activist to advocate for our Indigenous people. And a lot of what we're talking about today is colonial violence, which is very rooted in misogyny, patriarchy, and alcohol and drugs, as you heard earlier today. So, there's a lot going on in our communities, and I'm really grateful for all the families that are here today who are advocating for their missing loved ones. I hear it too at my level and do my best to mobilize, direct when a family needs help. And I think Bernadette has said something really impactful. We all need to collaborate. We all need to be there for each other and put aside jurisdictional issues. Jurisdiction is a colonial mentality, borders, boundaries, walls. Those things don't exist, and that's where I come from, speaking from this platform.
So thank you for letting me introduce myself, and Pablo, for all that you do. And thank you for our families for being here. You know, my heart goes out to you. We're here for you if you need anything. We provide a lot of security out of it. We do a lot of different things in the community, so come to me if you need help. Also addressing the abusers in the community. Bootleggers is a very problematic problem in our community, and how do we address that? We do that directly. So I'll shut up now, but thank you for letting me share. Yeah.
Oh, good afternoon, relatives. My name is Solomon. I'm a warrior in recovery. I'm from the Phoenix area, World Variety, All Nations World Variety Movement. I am Muskogee Creek and Chicano from Oklahoma, Oklahoma. I came here to listen to the families and to gather resources to take back to Phoenix. There was originally going to be 5 of us, but some of us were caught up in the snow. I was able to catch that window and make it on through and make it to Gallup last night. I'm blessed to be here. And, you know, it's whenever I speak or say anything, I always start off with my recovery, because without my recovery, I wouldn't have found none of this. My recovery has led to the well-writing movement, and with the well-writing movement, it has taken me to the MMIW movement. And I can't say enough about it. I'm a father of 5. I have 5 beautiful daughters, and they're grown now, but I can't imagine something happening to them. So I'm going to work on getting the resources back to my team and see what we could do to help y'all and be a part of this. You know, it's very special to be here, and the blessings just keep coming. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
So I've been sober 4/4/08, 17 years. You know, I'm a recovering alcoholic, just as my brother is here. We bring recovery into our Native communities, and I believe that's where it starts too. There's 4 p.m. Sheep Springs AA meeting every Sunday. We're doing our best in our community. We need your help. So thank you for sharing about recovery.
For about 26 months now.
Quick introductions from the families, go ahead, come on in. And we're gonna have the fam stand up here. Mrs. Ware, if you can make your way.
I am the sister of Renelle Rose Bennett. My name is Georgiana Harrison, and my recovery date is July 13th, 2022.
Hello, my name is Rose Yazzie, and I'm Renelle Bennett's mother. And she's been gone for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years this June 15th.
Hi, my name is Tony Pinedo, and I'm a MMIP advocate and activist. And I'm here for Tanya Begay because her family couldn't be here today. So if you get a chance, please Google Tanya Begay and Jason Thornburg.
Yaten, Shea, Danielle, and Check, so I did the storms at the Virginia Machine. Touching neighbors and trade don't behind a now. I am here today advocating for my brother, Julius Wayne Margo. He went missing November 25th, 2024. And I am here to be his voice and to continue advocating. And don't forget his name, because I am going to forget his name. And I just want to thank Lacey for inviting me out. I didn't know about you guys. And I just want to say that my prayers are always with the MMIP family and relatives.
Hi, I'm Roberta John. I'm here for my nephews, Alex Esky and Drew James.
Hi, I'm Bernie Batsui. I'm here for my son, Alexander Esky and Drew James.
Hi, my name is Michelle Esquivel,
I'm here advocating for my two brothers. Living Alexander is key. You guys, please, we just work together. You guys will get somewhere. All of you, police, you in this department, please. Our families is better. We're human. It doesn't matter if our relatives were on substance or alcohol. They were human. How would you guys feel if none of your kids came back to you? Please think about it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deanna. I'm here for my sister Tiffany Reed, and also here going to be for Becky Martinez, her brother Pablo Martinez.
Good afternoon, my name is Ursula Trump. I am a volunteer with Four Corners and Search and Rescue, but I am also here to advocate for my stepdad, Will and Joey. Hello, my name is Esther Pablo. I'm also a team member for the Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue. I'm here to advocate for my brothers, Frederick Charlie, Maurice the Gay, for my uncle, Raymond Tom.
Yaje Loma, Lorita Anderson, Nisha, Kisani, Do Ashini, Washishin, Kisani, Do Shichi, Tori, Dashanala. I am here to say the name and honor the name of my late brother, Juan Babbage's, Hopi and Donna Oda, who lived in Backley, Arizona. He went missing January of 2019. His remains were found 2 months later. I just want to, again, acknowledge, say their name, and share that we do need to create more non-jurisdictional resources, especially with my Hopi Nation being within the Navajo Nation and creating these resources for our families. So it's Uskley ahead.
Good afternoon, I'm Elida Hale, and I'm from here in Gallup, and I'm here to learn more about the missing and murdered. I've been attending several of these missing and murdered sessions, and I had a best friend from 3rd grade all the way to high school, and in high school we kind of separated, and she was missing for like 7 years from Fort Wingate, and they found her remains like 7 years later, and that brought closure to the family. And I'm also here for my nephew, Derek Orozco. He was murdered right out here in front of El Morro in November of last year, and I'm here for, in remembrance of him also, and also my family works with the unsheltered. We provide them like with meal or, coat, gloves, hats, wraps. And in fact, this afternoon, we're going to be feeding some of them here from 3 to 5 on the sidewalk on the west side. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Chelsea Cicilla. I am soon born of the mustard seed, I'm mustard seed, born of the Badger Town. I am here advocating on behalf of my niece, Cornelia, who was found last year. She was found on March 9th. Although her body was found March 7th, our family didn't know that she was dead. I'm also advocating on a recent relative that have been missing since January 28th. His name is Joe Zuni Jr. Cotton Burst. Missing since January 20th. His body was found February 14th. We're still waiting for an autopsy and when he was found. Fortunately, our City Police Department and investigators are not handling these bootleggers, are not handling these investigations media. If there had been investigations, boots on the ground, questions asked, maybe your loved ones would say, thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's a Relief Association. I'm here for my missing son, who has Scott Birchall. He's been missing since a year and a couple of weeks now. I'm still looking and searching. Nobody has said anything. Look where he's gotten off at, like Sanders, close to Sanders, like they're by Carino Road, and the FedEx Road. We searched all over that area, but we're trying to get the Conservation Police or federal bureau of investigators to get in there, but no answer yet. And they can get a warrant out to the person that lives there right off the road there. We need information to get it going. So we're here today and with the staff here and the mother. So we've been looking all over for information. This is the first meeting we went to and we are glad. Thank you.
Yaz initiative Edo should be Shira Zanabajam Inisha, Sanabinch, Nakabashishi, and Teddy Demand, Shinada, Abo, Adana, Bashishi, Tofika Nasha. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Zanaba. I am the project manager for the Missing and Murdered Navajo Relatives Coalition. Please stop by our table. We're in one of the rooms in the back here. I hope you all enjoy the breakfast refreshments and coffee. I want to thank our MMDR Coalition and Board for providing that for today's second annual Missing Persons Day event. I want to just extend my heart out to the families. I know the pain. I know we always are missing and loving our relatives that were stolen and taken from us. So we are here for you, I'm here for you, and that's how I became an advocate for the MMIP crisis. Off the top of my head, there's been so many friends and family members that have lost to this crisis, including my grandma Ella, who I never got to meet. She was shot and murdered here in Gallup in the early 90s by her husband, who was a Gallup police officer on duty. We haven't got justice. Also, my uncle Julian was also murdered in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Still no justice. My auntie Charmaine, also found murdered in Albuquerque. No justice. And the one that really hurt the most, Shache, son Jim, Polianda. My maternal grandfather, son Jim. I'm sure many of you know him, rodeo and cowboy. He was from the Modoc tribe but married into Navajo. It's been 15 years since he was shot and murdered in Grants, along with his elderly friend Wayne Johnson, who was taken care of. And my uncle was almost a third victim, but he ran for his life with bullets flying past his head. So I want to, again, honor their memory, their lives, their legacies today, along with everyone else who we are here in mourning or searching for our loved ones. And we don't want to forget our work with the MMDR Coalition is all dedicated to Ashton Mike Shadeja, her little sister from Shiprock. Don't forget her. We have her Ashton Mike Memorial Run. It's coming back this year, Shiprock Marathon. So invite you all to join us May 2nd and May 3rd. And also, we know this crisis is affecting all tribes. We need that intertribal solidarity. So we know everyone has been wearing red in honor of Emily Pike as well. Please continue to support the families. Don't forget the names. And do what you can just to let them know you're here. And thank you so much, Receiver, for organizing and I'm glad you were here for the scout event and for last year at 4th of July. Yeah, thank you. So after we are done here, after the last prayer from Mr. Billy, we're gonna divert to that room. And then the families will be able to also share their stories. And resources are there, you guys, take advantage of it. There's law enforcement here that are willing to help you guys. So, I do appreciate you guys coming. The weather was very bad and it was very good to get to know you, and I plan to still continue that relationship that I have with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and have Mrs. Ware come back up and do her last song to the family, and then we'll close it out with Mr. Billy. Dr. Billy.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming and the officers for their work and all the people who are under all the pictures that are hanging at Walmart, who are advocating for the people who are missing. Also for the families who are here, and CETA for organizing this, how do I say it? This little deal we're here at. Also like to thank you for the food. Thank you for today, Lord, and bless all the families. I've been praying for everybody who's attended and everybody who wanted to attend. Thank you for the opportunity, and God bless.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Although, God's faithful, they had, each and every one of the family members and all of the beautiful names that were mentioned, the ones who, are now with the Lord, and the ones who, we have the hope to be able to return home safely. Although I'm very grateful for, Rosita for putting this together. I think able to establish that there's an avenue for hope, to be able to have that strength and support from everyone here, from the law enforcement to even our puppies who are helping us out as well. Everyone here in support of the families here. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask that we have a moment of silence for our missing relatives. Also the ones who unfortunately weren't able to make it back home. And so we'll go ahead and end on that note with a moment of silence for them. And you can say your own little prayer on behalf of the families here and on behalf of your families as well. Hocanın gibi, hocanın değil, hocanın değil. Hocanın hastası değil, hocanın hastası değil.
Thank you. So if all of you guys can go ahead and divert, if you guys want to take pictures, you guys can. But we're going to be diverting into that room. And like I said, resources are there for you. And we have a lot of people here to speak to you guys. Okay, thank you.